Hi guys, hope you're all well. Today I'm actually doing some practice pieces for a commission, and I just thought I'd film it. Why not? Some of you might be, interested in it. And what has been asked of me is to make some like faux metal looking brooches. This is the size that they want, but I'm just going to do two different sizes in my samples, I think. And they want a modern twist on like the old Celtic style brooches that you see, like the domed metal ones, and just give me a couple of buttons to show me the sort of modernish patterns that she'd like me to try. So I just thought I'd film it, guys, while I was doing it. So it's this sort of thing that we're going to be doing. This is in copper. So I'm going to be doing it in 3 different colours. Of course you do. You do you. So I've just dug out of my collection some 2 copper colours. One's a lot brighter than the other. I've dug out 2 silvers. One's a lot brighter than the other. Again, you can just use one, guys. I just want to try and get a bit of depth with these rather than it again being flat, as I say. And I've dug out 2 bronzes, but I've also dug out some black, which will become apparent. What I want to do is, I don't think you can really make it out on this sample, but what I'm going to try and do is get the back darker, and then we're rubbing over the top with the lighter, so it makes it look more aged. And I've done a couple of faux metal pendants before, guys. I'll leave a little linky poo up here or in the description. I did a faux patinaed copper, and I've done a faux aged silver, so go and check them out if you haven't already seen them. And we'll make a start, guys, and I'm just going to use for this today, I've just got a few bits of scrap clay left over from other bits and bobs, so I'm just going to use some scraps, because as I've said, this is just a practice run for some commissions. She actually wants 6 of these brooches, so I'm just going to make a few samples just to show her and make sure I'm on the right track. And I've ordered some lovely brooch pins that have got a hook on the back, so they can be used as a pendant or a brooch. But anyway, yeah, I'll go and condition this, and we'll crack on and do our patterns. I'm just going to use some rubber stamps today, rubber craft stamps. You could use your stencils. I would recommend stencils, texture mats. This is a Cernit one. I would recommend that you try and use a deep one to get a decent impression. You could use some stencils as we've done before and just roll them into the clay. You could use some texture sheets. There's, use tools and make marks in the clay. Entirely up to you for this. I just thought I'd show you my way of doing it. So I'll go and get this conditioned, and then we'll have a play. See you in a min. Okay, guys, I've prepared 3 pieces of scrap clay. I think I'll do the bronzy one first, and I'm using this lighter colour to do the bronze one. And it's literally quickly conditioned, and I just did them on a 2, and then I've folded it over so it's a double thickness. I'll just pop them to one side while we do this one, and I'm going to just use my smaller cutter for this. I'm not going to worry about the surface, guys. I will just give it a quick burnish just to make sure there's no dodgy fingerprints or anything that might get picked up. But again, these are my samples, so I'm not too fussy. Right, so I've got Perfect Bronze and I've got Super Bronze here, and I'm going to mix the Perfect Bronze with some black initially. Let's get that cap off. And I've just got one of my little mop brushes and I'm just going to liberally brush in some of the bronze. And I'll just tap a bit of this black into the cap. I always find it easier working from the cap, really. You don't pick too much up then. Just tap the excess of that copper off, bronze off. And then I'm just going to knock that bronze colour back with the black, and I'm just stippling it at the minute just to get it spread around. And I've put a bit too much on there, as you can see. I'll try and get that back in the cap so as not to waste it, because you need the tiniest amounts of mica, guys. And I'm just going to give that a burnish into the surface, make sure it's bonded, give it a swirl, and I'm just going to pick a tiny bit of bronze back up and just mix it in with that black, just so it looks like it's started to go tarnished. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Okay. So that'll be our base piece, if that makes sense. Let's put that away, then I don't dip my brush in it accidentally. Pop that lid up. And for this one, I've just got this old compass stamp. These are just stamps, guys. This is a Tim Holtz one, and I'm just going to push this into the surface of my clay. I'll just pop it down initially, and I will use an acrylic block just to help me push it. Make sure I get a good impression. And there we go. There's our impression from that. Now what we're going to do is going in with the Super Bronze is I'm just going to get some on my finger, pat it so that I know no dust will fall off, and we're just going to go over with our finger some of the highlighted areas. You know, so on real metal the surface bit always goes shiny, doesn't it? Because it's rubbing or it's been buffed or similar, and that's just what we're trying to do on this. We're just trying to highlight the raised bits. Then it seems like it's more aged. So I'm just gently rubbing my finger over so that it catches the highlighted, the raised areas, and highlights them. And I think on that one that will do. Looks extremely metallic now, doesn't it? So let me just grab a wet wipe, clean up some of this excess, and I'm just going to take my brush and just gently sweep over, make sure there's no loose mica, and then we're going to cut this out. Just have to get my head right over, then I know that that's central. And of course these little bits, it doesn't matter guys, because I'm using scrap. You don't actually know it's scrap clay, do you? I just seem to have a little bit of a, just going to clean that edge up, and a little bit there. I don't think I pressed firmly enough with the cutter. Then what I'm just going to do is, where there's a little bit of mica left, I should have really, I've mopped it up, didn't I? I'll just pick a little bit of this out the lid. I'm just going to go around and just catch that edge as well with some mica. So that it looks finished. In fact, I can just see an edge there that I've missed highlighting, so I'll just catch that. There we go. Okay, so this is our first piece in, we'll call it aged bronze look. So I'll get this picked up, and we're going to dome these pieces, guys. And again, even though the samples, I am going to take a little bit of care, because of course I'll be showing the customer, and you want them to look nice, even if, you know, you maybe don't finish the backs off properly, but make sure your samples are pretty nice. And I'll just get one of my, let me just wipe that mica up before I forget. Let's wipe that up, and I'll pop that on there. In fact, oh, let me get, I've got my other ones down here. These are just chocolate moulds, guys. Again, you've probably seen them. They're not as solid as these, but they're decent enough. I'm just going to pop that on that one because it's a bit of a smaller dome, and I need 3. Let me grab a scrap of burnishing paper. And I'll just give this a gentle pat, oh, to get it to curve. Just gentle, oh, it doesn't want to stick. I'll do it with my fingers. Just get a gentle curve going. The clay was not very old, but a bit dry. It would stick better if it was just going to put my hand on it and give it a gentle press. That'll do, guys. It'll go a bit floppier in the oven. So that's our bronze, aged bronze. Let's clean some of this mica up. Try and keep tidy. I try and keep tidy. Clean my blade. Clean my brush off for the next colour. Again, not that it matters. A little bit of mixing won't do it any harm. And I think next we'll do yeah, I'll do the copper one on one of these smaller pieces as well. She didn't she didn't actually ask for a silver one, but I thought I would do a silver one, just so she could see that it wouldn't be bright silver. So shall I do the silver on this one? Yeah, I'm going to do silver on this one. And I think for this one I'm going to do like a brushed silver look. Just let me find my good lolly stick that I put to one side. Where is it? Oh, there it is, right in front of me. Right, so I've just got a lolly stick here, and they've got quite a rounded edge, these. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start pushing lines into this. And I've just initially gone through, and now I'll go through again, just holding the stick up straight, and then I'll go through again, pushing it that way, and then we get this lovely rippled effect. I'm just going to do that again, guys, that way. Okay, so for this one I'm just going to use the black, I think. I may change my mind. I meant to do it before I added, before I put the pattern on, because it just changes how it looks then, but with the brush I can get in the nooks and crannies on this brushed one. So I'll just brush some in initially. I want to get this quite dark. Make sure all them little nooks and crannies are full of mica. And I'm just going to get a tiny bit of silver. I don't think I've used this one yet. Mine are all a mix of different brands, guys. I've got PearlEx and Arteza and Cernit. It doesn't, you know, doesn't matter what brand you want to use. Just pick up a tiny bit of this silver and just add a little bit to that black, and they blend lovely, mica powders. I was playing with something the other day for a challenge, and I just blended loads of mica powders. It looked really cool when it was done. Okay, now I've done that, but I am just going to go back in with my lolly stick and break some of them up. I think I'll just go straight up and down for this bit. I'm being quite firm with that, guys, so I've got a decent pattern in there now, and I think I might just come back a little bit this way, put in a deeper line in, and then go back that way. You know, just do what you want, put whatever pattern you want in. Just want it to look a bit like brushed metal, if that makes sense. And then with what's left over here, I'll just brush back over to make sure that it's all blended in, and I've got lots of mica in there. So that's quite dark in the background, isn't it? So let's get my cutter again. Oh, maybe this one will fit. Oh, not quite. Well, it might just. I'll try it with the bigger one. Okay. Let's get that scrapped up. Again, with what's left over, I'll just zoom around the edge with a bit of mica. so that it all matches in nicely. You don't realise how much you've used till you start to pick the bits up. Okay, I think that's done nicely. I'm just going to rub my nail around that while I remember there's just a little bit of crumminess. Okay, let's put this to one side. That black to one side. Give my hands a wipe. Especially that finger there that I'm going to use for the... Now this is actually a... Did you see that then? It goes everywhere. It's a pigment, not a mica that you use in resin. I'm actually just going to sweep some of this up, guys, and then just use my finger. So I just want to highlight. I've got a sprinkle across that I didn't actually want, but I'm not going to worry about it. This stuff is just like powdered metal. I'm just highlighting those raised areas again with the silver. Burnishing them in. Of course, guys, you'll be using probably silver mica. It's just, I love this stuff. It's like mirror. It's a Resin8 product. I'm just going to run my finger around that edge to highlight the edge. And I've got that silver everywhere. I'm just going to give it a dust off now to get the loose off, like so. And then I think, oh, I might just grab my normal silver mica and just go over a little bit, because this, let me just try again with my finger. I don't think it's, oh my god, it's everywhere. Oh yeah, I'll just do it like this, ignore me. I didn't want to get too many speckles in it, if that makes sense. But I can obviously build it up, and then I'm quite happy with that. Let me just see if I can get rid of some of those speckles that fell in the grooves. Okay. I think I've played about with this one enough. See, this is absolutely my cup of tea, this subtle. And I'll just make sure that those loose bits are off. Wipe around a little bit. Get my mould ready. I'm absolutely covered in this silver stuff. Maybe I should have done that one last. Again, I'll just check for crumbs around the edges. Not too bad, they're good cutters. I think sometimes with me it's more of a user error than anything else. I forget to put firm pressure down. Okay, now this was a bit stickier, so this should stick nicely. I just use a bit of paper, then I don't disrupt it too much. Get it to stick down. Oh, I'm really liking that. It looks like brushed steel or something, doesn't it? Well, maybe not steel because of how it's dark and light, but a more modern looking one, isn't it, that, compared to the bronze one. But I just wanted to show you a few different ideas for textures while I was playing, guys. So, you know, that's just a lolly stick. You can get that lovely brushed steel effect with quite a bit of depth as well, just by using the black and the silver. Okay, so we'll pop that one to one side. Because this is everywhere, guys, I'm just gonna pause you and have a quick clean up to get rid of this silver sparkle from everywhere, and then we'll come back and do the copper. I'll see you in a sec. Okay guys, relatively cleaned up. So last but not least, we're going to do the copper, and I'm using a PearlEx and a Cernit. This is the super copper, and this is just the sparkling metallic copper, and a bit of black again. Now I think I'll use the Cernit copper with the black, and again I'm going to try and not put too much of this on initially. I just get a little bit of black going so that I can blend with some of the copper. Just tap a bit in the lid. So I'm trying to make the back look tarnished and the front and then the raised area to be more shiny. So if we start off with a background that looks tarnished, and then we can just highlight with the brighter copper. And as I've said, guys, you could just use two colours because we're adding the black. I just thought that I'd have a play basically with a few colours while I got them out. I do like messing with micas. There we go, and that looks quite tarnished now. Let's make sure I've not got any super bright blobs anywhere. And then just take any excess off. Then the other mica's got plenty of room to still tack, because of course we put too much of a layer on, we're going to lose that tackiness in our clay. I suppose you could spritz it a little bit or dampen your mica powder, because once it's baked it should soak in quite well. Now then, for this one I'm going to use one of my favourite stamps, and it's like an oil spill pattern, I think. I'm not sure, but I really like it, so I want to use this swirl. So I'm just going to try and make sure that I get that about in the middle. Let's just pop that down there, and I'll get my bigger block, I think, to press down with this one, because I want a really good impression. In fact, I'll stand up. Thing I like about with using rubber stamps is they're at different levels, so you get a different depth level through your work. on the clay, if that makes sense to you guys. I'm sure it does. Okay, let's get our bright copper. I think this will be the one she ends up going for because it's kind of my favourite too. And as before, I'm just going to get a bit on my finger, make sure that there's no too much looseness, and then I'm just going to go and highlight the high bits. I'm just kind of burnishing it as I go, make sure it's stuck in. And of course we will be varnishing these guys. I'm actually going to use some Kato clear liquid, I think. I've been moving away a bit from using resin as a coating on my commissions, definitely. For personal pieces and YouTube samples it doesn't particularly matter to me, but I just worry about people's allergies and things now. I've no issues with resin at all, but it's always nice to have an alternative, and I think that the Kato clear liquid is going to be my alternative. I'm just really enjoying using it, and it, you know, and you can have a matte finish or a light or a glossy finish with it, and your stuff doesn't go anywhere from underneath it. It doesn't seem to move micas around too much. I haven't tried it with any other mediums like pastels, but I'm assuming it'll be the same. I'm just really taking my time with this one, guys, then I don't get any little bits of powder dropping off my fingers while I'm highlighting these pieces. I really like the look of this, guys. It really does look like metallic. I think I'll be making a few more of these. There we go. I think I've faffed with it enough. Just put a bit more there. Excellent. Wet wipe. Let's get that copper off my finger. Where's my big cutter gone? There it is. I'll just give this a wipe in case I've got any coloured mica on it from the last one. Not that it matters much, I don't think it'll be noticeable. Okay. Yeah, I do think that this is going to be my friend's favourite as well as my favourite. Let's get this cut out. Get that scrap away. Again, no waste, guys, because it's just going to go back in with the colour I've used to make the pendant in the first place. I'm just going to get a little bit of mica on my brush to... Oop, that was a bit much, Kath. Just wanted to sweep round this edge and make sure that I'd got some copper on it. I have now. Okay, let's get my other mould out. There you are. Get this one picked up. A few little crumbs that I'll just clean off with my finger. To be honest, it's mainly mica that's just got stuck to a few danglers. Okay, I'll get this popped on. I'm just teasing it down with the back with the flat of my hand, guys, because this clay was quite sticky. So it's behaving better than the other piece. Okay, that's tacked down. Just run my nail around again, that edge. Because there might be samples, but you still want them to look nice. Don't too worry much about the backs when I'm doing, because I could always add a back to this, guys, at a later date. But if the front and the sides are lovely, you know, when you're showing a customer, it's quite nice. Then I'm just going to do my little trick where I put my back over, because I seem to have just distorted it a little bit. So if I just roll it like this, it just brings the roundness back. There we go. Okay, guys, so we've got the aged copper, we've got the aged brushed silver look, and we've got the aged bronze look. I shall go and pop all these in the oven. I will come back and show you quickly when they've been baked. Obviously I'm not going to be putting any backs on them or anything, guys, but what I might do is just coat one with some of the Kato liquid clear, just to show you how lovely it looks with that. And that's what I did with this when I was playing this morning. So I've put some Kato on it, and it's just got a lovely gloss on it. Okay, I'll go and get these in the oven. I'll see you in a minute. Hi guys, we're out the oven. Apologies for the ticking in the background. I've got something else baking at the minute. So anyway, here's the copper one, which I think is my favourite. Then there's the silver one, and finally the bronze one, which isn't really, to be fair, my cup of tea, but if I've learned anything from doing commissions, it's not generally what I like that people want. And when I showed them this stamp, they really like that pattern. So I don't know what she'll pick. Anyway, I'm not going to put anything on the backs, guys. Obviously generally I would have textured this or something, and of course I've got some brooch backs with a hook to go on them. She wanted some made with the pin, like this, and she wanted some with a true pin brooch back, but also with a hook, so it could be used as a pendant as well as a brooch pin. So there's a couple of ideas, but just what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop them to one side. Just wanted to show you the finish on this Kato. It's really good, especially, you know, for mica projects or anything. You know, I could resin that, but it's going to end up super glossy, and it's not really the finish you want, especially if you're going for a faux metal finish, because I don't want it to take away from the embossing look, if that makes sense. And I could just put some resin on. Of course I could just put some varnish on, but I just thought I would use a bit of this Kato and show you, because I'm thoroughly enjoying it at the minute, and I'm putting a really thin coat on. Try and not let it gather too much in the doodads, the ridges and things. So just a thin coat, working my way around. My clay is still actually a little bit warm, and I know there's loads of ways of setting and finishing. People do things their own way, guys. I bake it for 15 minutes and then I give it a whack with my heat gun to bring the shine back out. That works for me, so that's what I'm happiest doing. You do what you do. As I've said before, lots of people have different ways of doing things. There's not a right or a wrong way, there's just, you know, whichever way you want to do it. I'm just taking the excess off my brush now, and I'm just going round making sure that there's not too much in the nooks and crannies, because I just want a nice super thin coat of this. Okay guys, I'm going to I could have put this on a little stand, couldn't I? I didn't think. Just put a teensy bit on this edge. I'll pop this in the oven to bake it off, and then I'll give it a blast with the heat gun and show you when it's finished. So I'll go and rebake this, guys, and I'll see you when they're all done. See you in a minute. Hi guys, so the piece that I put some Kato clear liquid on is out the oven. Still a bit hot yet. I'll just show you that I just give these a quick thin coat with some Cernit Glossy varnish. It just needs to be heat set for about 10 minutes, but not an issue for me. I'll just pop them in a sec. So that's those two, and it doesn't really matter with this being so hot. Aha, it is really hot. You can see there's kind of a matte semi-gloss satin finish, which is lovely, to be fair. But I will speed this up, guys, but I'm going to just do it on camera, then you can see. So you won't hear any noise or anything. I will speed it up. I'm just using my heated craft tool. I haven't got one of those Bunsen, you know, a lot of people use the decorating heat guns, don't they? This gets hot enough for me. So I'll just film it so you can see it going shiny while I'm filming. Because I think the sun's coming in, you should be able to catch that nicely. But I'll speed it up, so I'll see the other side of the speediness. Okay guys, that is glossy enough for me now. I did it a lot longer on this piece. You can see that is uber glossy, but I don't want it too glossy. I don't want it to look false. I just want it to look like the high points are a little bit buffed, and as I've said, my glass mat is now really hot, and this is still really hot to show you. Let me pick a skewer up, balance it on a skewer so I can lift it up to the camera without burning myself. There we go. Got just a nice gloss on there now, a subtle gloss rather than a high gloss. I know it would go glossier, like I said, I did this piece uber glossy, but I didn't want that high shine on it. So there's our pieces, guys. Of course, as I've, oh god, that glass mat is hot. As I've said, I am not putting any backing on these. I would normally, they would have a lovely backing on, and of course they need a brooch back on, but these are just samples to show the person who's asked for commissions for these large pin brooches come pendants. But I am definitely going to be doing these styles again with maybe something else. I'm just enjoying the patterns. Okay guys, I shall leave it there. Thanks so much for watching. Hope that helped. Anybody out there who's looking for some little tweaks on certain techniques, I know that other people have done metallic style videos. I just thought I'd share this with you because I was doing it anyway. And I'll see you all in the next video. Bye guys.